Hello and welcome back to Tom's Datsun Garage. I hope you enjoyed my little series I did on my history with Datsuns. It took a while to put it together and dig up all the photos, and I'm very sorry that it wound up looking more or less like a glorified slideshow. But given the era that all took place, there was no way for me to even get any video of any of it. And the video that I did have later on was on my iPhone mainly. A lot of those pictures, when they started to go digital, was taken with my 4 megapixel camera that I got for Christmas of 2003. Kodak 4 megapixel camera. So thanks for bearing with me with that. But that is all the history I have. Every photo that I have is up there. So that's it for my history. From now on, it's just going to be present day forward, which brings me to the next thing. I do have a very positive update to share with you people. I've got a lot of good friends. Some that I've been friends with for a very long time, 20 plus years. And they kept a lookout for a parts car for me where they live. My friends have scattered about the country a little bit. One's in Tennessee, one's in Colorado. I got a friend who travels the road, so they're kind of all over the place. Well, they would send me things that they would find in their areas about parts or parts cars. And even another friend of mine who lives not far from here, he would send me things too. So that was really nice to have my friends constantly sending me things to help me with the parts that went missing because of UPS. The very positive update is my good friend Kenny out in Colorado found a parts car that is viable. I did find 2 of them locally. By local, I mean about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of me. But they were barely shells, and they wanted like $5,000 plus for them. One of them wound up disappearing after a while. I'm assuming someone finally bought it. The other one is still listed, and there's just not enough there to ask that kind of money for it. I don't think it's worth it. Thankfully, Kenny found somebody who just listed their car. And what's interesting is their situation is a lot like my first 1971 240Z, where that car had been in a considerable wreck at some point early in its life to be worth enough to be considered repairable, to piece it back together and keep driving it. Albeit very poorly pieced back together, to the point where seeing the bodged repairs of the entire rear quarter section being done, nothing's lining up. The front driver's side area of the engine bay had some wrinkles in the metal, so there was some damage there. A lot of good parts on that car I could use today, but the body wouldn't be one of them. I wouldn't think anyway. So the car that he found was from somebody that had a similar plight. He bought the car. It was a running driving car. He liked it. He loved it. He wanted to do an RB20 swap. Cool. He's going to keep it all Nissan, keep it in the family. Great. He started taking the car apart to do the engine swap, and then he started finding really poor bodywork done on the firewall of the car, and there was some other damage in the engine area. I believe I saw some on the driver's side frame rail area, very similar to what was on my 71. So that was enough to derail his project, which I fully get and understand. So he wound up wanting to sell everything. Probably start fresh with something else. I hope he gets another 240Z and he gets to complete his dream. Kenny found the listing almost right away and got in touch with him. He sent me some of the specifics on it and the story behind it, and I was like, this sounds promising. They eventually set up a time where Kenny could go and look at the car in person. He went out there, he saw the car in person, we FaceTimed, and I was able to ask specific questions, and he was able to take the phone and go around the car and show me things that I was looking for. So the car seemed more and more like it was the right car, what I was looking for. A car that I necessarily wouldn't be using the body for, but I could use the hardware out of this car and some other pieces as well. So he wound up selling us the car. So that was fantastic. Kenny purchased the car from the fella, took his car trailer out there and picked it up, and the car is now safe under a tarp on a car trailer in Colorado. I just got to figure out how to get the car here to Florida. I've been looking into shippers, reading lots of horror stories. I'm probably not going to go that route. However, as luck would have it, I'm going to a wedding in Colorado at the end of July. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is fly out for the wedding, rent a truck, and bring the trailer with the Datsun on it all the way back here to Florida. That's looking like my best option. So that's probably the route I'm going to take. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what kind of car is it? Obviously, it's a 240Z. And I was looking for a very specific window of car, a 1971 or a 1972, not a 70 or a 73 240Z. Turns out, this car was built 3 months after my 240Z. It is a Kilimanjaro white with red interior, 4-speed 1972 Datsun 240Z. Of course, the car is primer gray at the moment, but it was still born Kilimanjaro white, which I think is great. It's 904. That's the color code. Color code on my 1971 is 903, which is, of course, the blue. So this would be a pretty car. White with the red interior. It would just be a gorgeous car. And it was built 3 months after my car. 10 of 71. My car was built 7 of 71. And yes, there are some differences because one's a 71 and one's a 72. But it's still very encouraging on how close they are built together. So, I'm going to show you some pictures and a brief clip of the car being on a trailer.
Z is currently getting loaded onto the trailer to go to a new home.
That's it. That's all I have for you, unfortunately, at the moment. It is currently March 2nd, so I don't know how... I don't think I can get the car back here any sooner than the end of July. If I can, great. If I can't, well, it's probably going to be a bit before I upload any more updates on Project Z. But I may have some other Datsun content in the pipeline. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Even if you're not liking or subscribing or even commenting, I'm not going to sit here and hound people to do that. You like it, great. You don't, okay. I understand, no problem. To each their own. Well, it looks like it's Datsun o'clock. Time for me to get a move on. And I'll see you guys on the next video.